Hey everyone, welcome back to the Herd and 10. I'm your host, Jake, joined by my co-host and brother, Kevin. I'm happy this week. The Bills got a win. They probably didn't deserve it, but I'll take it. As the title of this episode clarifies, the Bills, the Buffalo Bills coaster, the roller coaster that the Buffalo Bills have been taking us on is continuing to do its loop-de-doo. The Buffalo Bills are not a great team. We know that. But can they squeak out enough wins this year to take them to the playoffs? Maybe. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not a very good team. We could very clearly see that. And yet I feel like the Bills' defense and offense still both struggled at times. I think there's some promising signs that came out of the Bills' offense. Certainly some positive signs there. They were moving the ball. More importantly, Josh Allen ran the ball and he spread the ball. It wasn't just Stephon Diggs. Dalton Kincaid, that I think is the nail in the coffin for Dawson Knox. And of course, Gabe Davis and Khalil Shakir had an amazing game. I see the potential in this offense. I just don't know if they're going to be consistent enough to take us to the promised land. But Kev, I'll give you a little time to talk because I usually get to talk all about the game. I'll let you cover a little bit about the game, maybe some of the pros and cons that we saw and where you see the Bills going from here. The one thing I'll just say before I pass it over is the AFC East is a very, very good division. The Miami Dolphins are a very good team. And don't forget about the New York Jets. They look decent. Yes, they only beat the Giants. And yes, it was a terrible win, but they are 4-3, and Aaron Rodgers might be coming back. Concerns, Kev?
Yeah, no, Aaron Rodgers ain't coming back. I don't care what he says, but I'm not concerned about the Jets. We should have never lost to them, but somehow they've beaten us. They've beaten some other good teams. By the skin of their teeth. They won some big games, but I still don't think they're a true competitor. Like maybe they squeak into the playoffs, but I still highly doubt it with Zach Wilson. But yeah, more importantly, the Bills. I will say I did enjoy the first half of football. So we haven't seen us score a touchdown in the first half in the last 3 games. So it was really nice to see us score 2 touchdowns, score 17 points. We really jumped on Tampa early, which we hadn't seen in the last 3 weeks. So that was a huge positive. The problem was we got too conservative in the second half. We punted the ball away 4 times between the 40 and the 50. McDermott had plenty of chances to go for it, and he chose not to. I think McDermott has gotten a little bit conservative and a little bit too much second guessing, really. You would expect to see that more from a coach in their first year or two. But, McDermott's been on the Bills for, I don't know, it's his 6th season. This is not his first go-around. You want to see us put games away. There were some head-scratching play calls towards the end of the game. Even the last play call, 3rd and 2, and you're running with Latavius Murray up the middle to try to get the first down. Let Allen roll out and make a play. He can either run for it or throw for it. End the game right there. Don't give them the ball back. Do not give a lousy team an opportunity to beat us on a Hail Mary.
Well, let's dig into that a little bit. because you and I have talked about this, not this season, but last season, that we felt like the Buffalo Bills missed or didn't have the killer instinct. And you already alluded to it, is that they still don't have that killer instinct. There seems to be this hesitancy to take the game to the other team, to put the pedal to the metal, to put your foot on their neck and snap it. That is something that the Buffalo Bills, I think, have struggled to have under Sean McDermott. He's a very good coach. Is he a great coach? I'm not sure. And the reason I'm not sure is because of that missing piece, that killer instinct. This week was a perfect example. Yeah, they had plenty of opportunities to put the game away. And in the end, they actually left the game up into they left the game in the ref's hands because really, yes, they don't often make pass interference calls on Hail Marys. But the fact of the matter is the Buffalo Bills certainly interfered with that pass. They got lucky. I'm glad the refs didn't.
Forget the interference. They could have caught the ball. The guy had a chance to catch the ball, and he
Yeah,
was kind of
it's
asleep.
true. Even with the interference, I think Godwin had a very clear look at the ball, and he just didn't turn around quickly enough. So, yeah, I mean, it's certainly concerning that the Bills leave games up to chance when they have the opportunity. And again, this is not a strong Buccaneers team. I don't think they're a bad team, but they're not a great team, and the Bills made it look difficult.
They only scored 7 points in the second half. That is just not going to get it done. It was a reverse. It was a reverse game script from the last 3 games, because the last 3 games we got almost no points in the first half, and then we got 2 to 3 touchdowns in each second half.
We had a quick start, which is what we wanted, but then we didn't continue. We sort of faded away, and I understand coaches make changes. There's always adjustments in the second half, but you have to then adjust to those adjustments. And the Bills continue to show me, at the very least, that their coaching is not to par, particularly on the offensive side. I don't think there's an issue with the defense. I think there's just injuries, and our defense is missing some talent. There's certainly a lack of talent there, at least left from all these injuries. But when I look at this offense, I look at an offense that has the potential to be great. And I don't just mean good, I mean great. Maybe the best offense in the league if you actually look at the talent. If you look at our offensive line, if you look at our running back core, which, by the way, just got a hell of a lot better with Leonard Fournette signing to the Buffalo Bills, you have a very strong receiving core now that you don't have Dawson Knox there. I actually think this is a good receiving core. But you have an offensive coordinator that seems to be unwilling to push the envelope. But we did talk about this, Kev, that there was some more motion, right? We saw a lot more motion, at least in the first half of this game. But again, where did that go in the second half? Why are we just handing the ball off to Latavius Murray on 2nd and 3rd down when we have a chance to put the pedal to the metal? Is there some reason, Kev? Do you think the coaching staff is a little nervous right now? They're afraid to lose, and they're playing afraid, even though when you're actually not that good, you should take more risks, not less risks.
Yeah, I think you got it absolutely right. I think McDermott, his wheels are spinning a bit, which is not a good thing. We haven't really seen that from McDermott, where he seems to be, he doesn't quite have his pulse on the game. It might be that he's calling plays on defense and he's a little bit run ragged out there, where he has too many responsibilities on game day, and that's kind of clouding his judgment. Because I agree. I mean, he looks hesitant. I thought there was opportunities for him to challenge plays that he didn't challenge, especially there was an early play I thought he should have challenged. I thought We got way too conservative in the second half of the game on fourth down, and there's no reason for it. Our strength is our offense. We know this. Our defense has been torn down by injuries, major injuries on all three parts of our defense. The front line, the middle line, and the back line. On all places in our defense has been compromised. We've lost Trey White. We've lost Matt Milano. We've lost Daquan Jones. We're not the same defense as we were. We're not going to be able to hold teams to 20 points every game, 20 points or less, especially when we play good teams. We have a good one coming up next weekend, Cincinnati. We'll discuss it soon. But the bottom line is we're going to need our offense to score more points. If we're going to go anywhere this season, if we're going to make it to the playoffs, if we're going to make a deep run in the playoffs, it's going to be on our offense. That's just the way it is with our team. And that, to me, means going for it for 4th and 4 from the 45-yard line and in. We didn't do it 3 times in a row, and that almost cost us the game and literally could have cost us our season. You lose games against lousy teams, and that is going to come back to haunt you later in the season. So I really think McDermott has to get his head back on straight and stop the wheels spinning. Get it together, be more aggressive, and try to win games. Don't play not to lose.
So talking about some positives here, there's 2 players I want to talk about. Dalton Kincaid and Terrell Bernard. Dalton Kincaid is as good of a rookie tight end as I've ever seen. This guy is NFL ready. He seems to understand schemes. He can block. He can catch. His catch radius is unbelievable. I mean, his touchdown catch, the throw actually was not very good from Allen. It was quite a bit behind him. No issue at all. Walks into the end zone. How long have the Bills fans been waiting to have a real, true Pro Bowl talent at tight end? That is something that we have been waiting forever, and I think it's come. I think Kincaid is the answer. And as this season progresses, fortunately, Knox is injured for the foreseeable future. And I would imagine within a few weeks from now, I think Kincaid's going to be taking over games. I would argue he took over this game. 5 for 7 with, what did he have? 67 yards, I think. 5 for 7, 65 yards and a touchdown. He has I believe he probably still does, has the highest catch percentage rate in the league. Prior to this game, he was, I think, 92%. The guy catches the ball and he doesn't make mistakes. It's hard to find any issue with his game. To be honest, the only issue is it's hard to believe that the Bills refused to play him over Knox.
He's the anti-Knox. He's the anti-Knox.
Knox had to get injured for him to get a legitimate play time, play share. It's unbelievable that it took this long. And this is, again, I hate to do this, but it's again a coaching issue. The coaches tend to do this with rookies. They barely played Gabe Davis in his rookie season. They messed around with Isaiah Hodgins, who ended up leaving. They messed around with Kaiir Elam. They kind of messed around with Benford, but he played so incredibly well. They had no choice but to start him. Terrell Bernard, they didn't play last year. They tend to not play rookies. And I get it. If the rookie's not ready, don't play them. But if they feel kind of ready, or if the starter over them that's playing is not good, you have to give them an opportunity. And I truly believe Kaiir Elam's career has been messed up over it. And I don't know if he'll ever get to where we would want him to get to.
Free Dorian Williams.
Yeah, Dorian Williams is a good opportunity. It's a perfect opportunity. You have Matt Milano out. It's the perfect opportunity. Dodson has not looked very good.
Dodson, who can't cover anyone. They're subbing in Taylor Rapp, because Dodson can't cover anyone.
Who's
So,
taking penalties left, right, and center.
yeah, so you're acknowledging right off the bat that there's severe limitations with Dodson. And yet you're not playing the third round rookie that you just drafted and who has looked good. I think he's actually looked good, and I think he would get better with more playing time. I just
Not
don't understand it.
not to mention Thompson, Dorian Williams. He was drafted to be a coverage linebacker because of his size. He's a little small, so he wasn't brought in to be a heavy, strong run defender. He's there for coverage, and boy, oh boy, that guy can run from side to side as good as any linebacker I've ever seen. So I don't understand why. And even as a tackler, I think he's been okay. He's had a couple missed tackles, but nothing that I wouldn't expect from a bit of a raw rookie. But again, there is no one ahead of him that deserves to be playing. So when you don't really have a starter ahead of him, I don't see how it could hurt to start him, especially when your defense has been struggling anyway. So, that's another piece that I really think there's an opportunity. But on the positive side, Terrell Bernard has been such a welcomed addition to this defense. Who was our middle linebacker last year? Was it oh yeah, Tremaine Edmonds, the multi Pro Bowler, 6'5", big, strong, but has half of a brain, doesn't know where the A and B gaps are, doesn't really know how to cover, doesn't have good hands for interceptions, generally is not in the vicinity of the ball when it's fumbled. Yeah, that guy. Terrell Bernard is so, so much better than Tremaine Edmonds ever was and ever will be. Look, Edmonds is a physical specimen. No one would argue that. He had incredible talent. He had the ability to be an amazing linebacker, but he isn't. He is not a good linebacker, and you can see
Yeah,
in the Bears defense.
I watched the Bears game last night, and he looked atrocious as ever. He was being picked on in the past. He never is in the right spot. He has absolutely no instincts. You watch Bernard, and the guy is everywhere he needs to be. And honestly, I think Dorian Williams, when I watched him, he looked like he was in the right spot. I think he was much noticeably better than Dodson. So it's another head scratcher for me where, again, they just don't let their rookie defenders play. And you see other teams and they just throw their rookies in and they just let them play. I don't understand with the Bills. Doesn't make sense to me.
And the Bills don't have the starting core that they used to have. You need to let these rookies flourish. You need to let them prosper, especially when their contracts are really good. You need them to play at a high level at the beginning of their career because we don't have the cap space we used to have. I want to now focus on the upcoming matchup because we got a huge game on the slate. You got Bills, Bengals in Cincinnati, Sunday night, prime time, and not sure how to feel because the last couple times we've played them, we've been obliterated. They almost killed one of our players. I mean, it wasn't their fault, but we've had some bad luck against them. And I don't know if Bills fans watched the Bengals yesterday, but holy, that team is for real. Joe Burrow is back. He is for real. This team is destined for the playoffs. And it sucks to say it because you and I spoke a month ago about how the Bengals were done. They are not done. They are really good. And they have it all. They got the defense, they got the run game, they got the pass game. I want to talk specifically about receiver versus receiver. Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs. That's the matchup, right? Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. That is the matchup. Can we stop Jamar Chase, Kev? Can we slow him down? Can we restrict him enough to win this game?
I mean, I think we can. Whether we will is another story. I thought when we played Miami, I thought we did a really, really good job against Tyreek Hill. I think we can. I think we have the type of defense that doesn't rely on one player. So, we don't need the best cornerbacks in the league to stop guys because we have, an amazing safety duo that can slow guys down. I think that we need to be able to get to Burrow. That is the key to this game. The key is to not give him tons of time to work back there because he had a lot of time to work against San Francisco and he diced up their secondary. So, they don't have a lot of experience with Burrow. A team like San Francisco hasn't played. They're in the NFC, so they haven't played Cincinnati a lot. We haven't really played them very well. But, again, I think the key to our team now is being able to outscore the competition. So, previous games against Cincinnati, our O-line got destroyed. The key in this game is for our O-line to be able to protect for Josh Allen. That's the number one key to this game to me. Because we're going to give up points. Absolutely, we're going to give up points. Burrow is tough to stop. He's playing at a very high level right now. Would have been nice if we had played him in the first 3 games of the season. But right now he's playing at a very high level. We aren't going to be able to hold Cincinnati to a low total. So in order for us to win this game, it has to be a high-scoring game. And there isn't going to be that ability to be conservative. If you have 4th and 3, 4th and 4, 40-yard line, opponent 40-yard line, you're going to have to go for those absolutely every time without fail. That is going to have to happen in this game. McDermott is going to have to nut up. He is going to have to nut up in this game because I've had enough of this playing conservative. You're playing a good team. You're not playing Tampa Bay. You're playing Cincinnati. They've knocked us out last year. They made it to the Super Bowl the year before. This is a really good team.
With everything that happened with Hamlin, does that play into this at all? Do the Bills have a little extra edge? Because I'm thinking about score prediction as you're talking, and I'm going back and forth. Do I go with the Bengals? Do I go with the Bills? It's a 3-point spread. It's in Cincinnati. Burrows look good. Allen's kind of up and down. Are we going to see the great Allen? Are we going to see the sugar high Josh Allen? Are we going to see a tentative Sean McDermott? Are we going to see Sean McDermott that wants to win big and make a statement? How do we match up in terms of revenge kind of game? Are we going to get revenge on them? Are we coming in with an extra edge than we normally would have? Or is this just a regular week-to-week game? Because we know the players are going to say that, but realistically, is this different?
No, I think it's a huge game. I think they knocked us out of the playoffs last year. I think it's always going to be a game where you get up for. The Bills are going to need to get up for this game to win this game. They're going to need to play a lot better than they've played the last 4 games. So in terms of the DeMar Hamlin situation, does that motivate the team extra? It's hard to know. It's obviously not a good memory from the last time we were there. So it's hard to say whether that's a motivating factor. I think the loss in the playoffs at home, that should be a motivating factor.
And a bad loss at that.
A bad loss. And we haven't beaten Burrow. So we've looked pretty lousy against Cincinnati and Burrow. So I think this is a big game where it's really shows where we stand in the league. Because Cincinnati is a really good team. We played a bunch of not very good teams in a row and with, some extenuating circumstances with being in London. And this is certainly, hopefully, going to be a game that shows that we still are a contender. Because if we get blasted in Cincinnati, that's going to be okay. The Bills look toast. So this is a big game.
And we've been talking about this a couple weeks ago, both of us thought that the Bills are toast. It's over. The season's over. They're not a contender. But then, of course, us Bills fans, we can't. We're a glutton for punishment. We can't. We never give up. We always believe, and we go out. We win a game here against the Bucks, and all of a sudden, our tune's different. I do feel a little different about the Bills. I do agree. This game is it. This is truly it. If you lose in a close, tight game, but you look good, you're for real. If you get destroyed, you're nothing. And if you destroy Cincinnati, it means you're for real. So this game is, I think, going to give us, at least us and all Bills fans, truthfully, a very clear picture on what the Buffalo Bills are going to be for the rest of the season, whether they win the division or get a wild card or don't make the playoffs. I think this game is the pivotal moment. And it should be noted, the Miami Dolphins have a very, very difficult matchup, 9:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time in Germany against the Kansas City Chiefs, who also have not looked very good, but seem to have a very good record still. So that kind of plays into it, because if we could somehow beat the Bengals, the Dolphins will lose. Of course, right now we have the upper hand on the Dolphins because we beat them. It puts us in a very good opportunity to still win the division. So this game, I do believe this is probably the biggest game weighing on the Buffalo Bills' shoulders. They're not going to say anything. The players are going to say it's a standard week. This is the biggest game of the season for them, and they know it. And not to mention, it's a primetime game. And you better believe the Bills don't want to look like crap again on primetime, because they've had a couple stinkers this year in primetime. They want to bounce back.
Yeah.
Score
Also,
prediction.
if we do win, we play the Broncos and Jets back to back at home, which are two very winnable games. So in theory, you win this game, you could really push and then go to 8-3, which
puts us in a very good position.
A very, very good position heading into a very tough stretch of our schedule where we're playing Philly, Kansas City, Miami. We have a really tough stretch. So this is a huge game. This is a big turning point in the season. I think, it could really go in either direction right now.
So score prediction here. Here we go. Initially, my first inclination was like Cincinnati 21, Bills 17, but I'm not going that. I'm going completely different. I am going big, baby. Okay. The Bills are going to put up 38, and they're going to beat the Bengals 38-28. The Bills are going to give up a ton of points, but Allen is going to go off. They're going to put up a lot of points, and Allen is going to be running. Honestly, bold prediction. Allen runs a 25-yard run in the first quarter, at least one. He's going to run big runs today on Sunday night. He's going to take big hits. This is going to be this is the coming out party. This is where the Bills show the world, hey, we're not gone. Okay.
I'm going to go a little bit in the middle there. I'm going to say 34-31. Tyler Bass is going to walk it off from 48 yards out. He hasn't looked very good lately, but I think he's going to get right in this game. Game-winning field goal. No time left on the clock. 34-31 Bills.
T-Bass's coming out party. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Oh, shit.